welcome to another MoneyMax Monday video. Today we're going to start a new series which is going to look at MoneyMax for different groups of people. Today we're going to talk about MoneyMax for students. Now, the first thing that we have to do if we are a student, which is somebody in higher education at college or university, is to make sure we are getting the right amount of student finance. This is a loan or a grant, although these days it's usually a loan, which enables us to maintain our living costs, such as rent and food and transport and books and these kinds of things. And how much you get is determined by a number of factors. So the first thing we need to do is determine that we are getting the absolute right amount and that we are not missing out on any lines of credit. One of the best ways to do this is to put your details through an online calculator, such as the one on the screen at the moment from gov.uk, and that will churn out what you could expect to get if you were to become a student either in the coming year or in a year that has already started. Let's have a look at a few examples.
So if you go to gov.uk/student-finance-calculator, you will find that there is a calculator run by the government and you can put in your details and that will tell you what to expect in terms of student finances. So first of all, you choose when do you want your course to start. Let's say between September 17 and August 18. This is obviously the most up-to-date calculator they have. What type of student are you? Let's say UK full-time. Next, how much are your tuition fees? Let's assume that you have you're paying £9,000 tuition fees, which is close to the maximum. And where will you be living while you're studying? Now, there's different iterations about what you can get depending on where you live. So let's say that you are not living with parents but studying outside of London. Next, what is your annual household income? This is your parents' or partner's taxable income plus your own. It affects how much you'll get for living costs. So let's say that your household income is £20,000. Do any of the following apply? Children under 17, an adult financially depends on you. You have a disability, health condition or learning difficulty, example dyslexia, you're on low income, or none of these. You would obviously choose the ones that apply to yourself, if indeed they did. Are you studying any of the following courses? Teacher training, dental, medicine, healthcare or social work. There are more funds available for those types of courses. If you hit none of those, then you can get up to £9,000 tuition fee loan to pay for your course, and because we put in the total household income of £20,000, you can get the full amount of £8,430 worth of maintenance loans to pay for your living costs. It tells you all the details down here. Let's just change that. So if let's say that your household income is no longer 20,000, you've had a pay increase in your household, and now your parents' household income is 30,000. That will obviously churn out a different set of results. You get slightly less. You would get 7,825. Any additional money that you would require in order to pay for your rent or food or books or anything like that, your parents would be expected to pay for. Let's just say, for one more example, that your household income was 50,000. You've got none of those criteria, and you're not studying any of those courses. Your student finance would be £5,404. Notice in each of these instances, the £9,000 tuition fee loan to pay for the course is still the same. They're not denying you money in order to pay for the course. They are just reducing the amount of cash that they will loan you as a maintenance loan, which is for day-to-day living.
Secondly, what we must do when we are a student is to budget. As a student who could get the full maintenance grant, you could expect to get somewhere in the region of £2,700 into your bank account sometime in September. This could lull you into the false sense of security into thinking that you have tons and tons of cash. And that might seem like it's true. However, that cash has to last a long time. Between the start of term in September and the end of term in December, you're going to have to pay for several months' rent, food, transport, books, nights out, anything else that you do on top of it. What you need to do is to not waste it, but rather to plan how much you have to spend each month and each week, and to plan accordingly for that. If you know details about how much you're going to have to spend on various items, such as how much you're going to have to pay for accommodation, how much you're going to have to pay for transport, either home during holidays or at weekends, or indeed to get to a placement if you have that. You might want to pay for transport to get to lectures or tutorials or something like this. Are you going to join a society? That might cost some money. Are you going to have to buy books or equipment? This might cost money. If you already know details about how much these things are going to cost, you can do this before you go. If you visit moneymaxuk.org/downloads, you can download the MoneyMax budget planner, which should cater for any eventuality that you might have to throw at it. But don't assume that just because you've got a lot of money now that it will last a long time. Once you've taken out rent and travel, you're going to have considerably less to live on, and you need to make sure that you eat as well in the middle of December as you did in the middle of September. Figure out how long that money has to last and appropriate it out from there. Thirdly, discounts. As a student, you're incredibly attractive to retailers and companies who want to sell you their products. And so in order to convince you to go into their shop or to visit their website, many of these companies will offer you a discount if you are to actually buy their product. This discount is at the discretion of the retailer, but it's usually in the region of 10 to 15%. Do not assume that you are getting a better deal just because they're offering you a discount. However, if you're going to buy it anyway, make sure that you show them your student card and that you actually get the discount. Some retailers will also offer a discount, but they might not advertise that they do it. It never hurts to ask. Sometimes if you just ask whether or not they can offer a student discount, rather than have you walk out of the shop buying nothing and you taking away all your money, they might be happy to settle for 90% of what it would cost somebody who wasn't a student and might give you a cheeky discount on the side. The worst that they can say is no, and then you have the choice whether or not to buy it anyway or to go elsewhere and see if you can find a cheaper deal. During Freshers Week, you will often find people with clipboards wandering around offering discounts on certain products or services. Take advantage of any of these that you might find useful in the future. Usually all they require is an email address and a name, and you can simply unsubscribe if you decide later that you don't want to get their emails. If they are offering discounts, make sure you take advantage of them. Also, as a student, you're entitled to a rail travel discount card, which is operated by the National Rail Network. These cost around £35 and can get you a third off your rail travel. If you're somebody who's going to be travelling to placements, or if you're going to be travelling to different cities, maybe home at the weekend or at the end of term, then this travel card could pay for itself in a single use, and £35 for a year's discount on train costs could be very well worth it. Finally, make sure you look up NUS Extra cards. These are a collection of retailers which offer discounts on particular products ranging from 5% to 50%, and you sometimes have to pay something for the card, but you can get huge discounts on the retailers who are signed up to this scheme. Always ask to have a look to see which retailers are involved in this, and if you don't see any that you're likely to use, then don't buy it. But if there's one or a few that you might end up using, it might be worth paying the small amount of money in order to get the card. Fourthly, buy in bulk and cook in bulk. When you're shopping, have a look at how much a kilogram of pasta costs. Then have a look at how much half a kilogram of pasta costs, and then have a look at how much 5 kilograms of pasta would cost. Look at how much it costs per kilogram. The larger the quantity of something that you buy, the cheaper it is per kilogram. And if you were to buy things that don't spoil, like pasta or rice or spaghetti or tinned goods, you can buy these in bulk and you will find that you are spending less overall on food. Make sure that you are not buying things that will actually spoil, like I did in my first year. Don't buy 4 kilograms of carrots and keep them in the cupboard instead of the fridge. All you'll get is a stain in your cupboard. Also, between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m, many supermarkets will reduce foods that are close to their use by or best before date in order to ensure a quick sale. If you come across some of these, buy them and freeze them even if you're not going to use them that day. Using something after its best before date is usually up to your discretion. Best before means might be fine after, but it's best to check. Usually following your nose is a good indicator on this. If, however, you find something that is past its use-by date, avoid it, because it's something that often spoils and could produce harmful bacteria in it. But if these products are on the reduced aisle and you freeze them, then when you defrost them, as long as you consume it within 24 hours, it's usually fine. Also, if you live in a communal hall or a student flat with, say, 5 other people, don't cook 6 different meals. First of all, it'll be incredibly hectic, and second of all, you're using a lot of gas in order to make the same amount of food as if you all cooked one meal and ate together. It's usually cheaper as well to buy that amount of ingredients to make one meal as it would be to make 6 individual meals. Cook meals rather than having ready meals. It also bonds people together in community, and you make some of the best friends you're ever going to make when you're at university. Next, just because you're a new student in a new town doing a new course in a new phase of life, it doesn't mean that you need to buy everything new. The books that you're going to be studying from may well be identical to the books that somebody who bought them a few years ago is currently trying to sell. Have a look on free cycling websites or pass it on websites which often occur on social media. Have a look on Gumtree and eBay and Amazon Marketplace and local second-hand bookshops. These are a way to dramatically reduce your costs when you're at university, and we must admit that the information inside doesn't usually change that much. They might add a new paragraph of introduction or some different pictures, but if the information is the same, there's no sense paying twice or 3 times the price for something. Next, freebies. Students should not pay council tax at all if everybody living in that accommodation is in fact a student. If you're living in a student flat and all of your students, you shouldn't pay any council tax. The council tax bill should be 0. If you've paid council tax in error, you should be able to claim that back. Finally, bank accounts. Because you will be receiving a few £1,000s into your bank account every few months, the banks in the UK are incredibly competitive to try to get you to sign up with them for your student bank account. Even if you've already got a bank account from before you were a student, it might be an idea to look at what you can get if you were to sign up for a student bank account. Often they come with a 0% overdraft facility, and while we shouldn't be planning to use an overdraft facility unless we absolutely have to, if you do absolutely have to, it's best to do that for free without paying any interest. Also, banks will give away freebies if you sign up and agree to have your student loan or maintenance loan paid into them. These freebies could range from a year's subscription to Spotify, a free iPod, a Kindle, a tablet, or a rail card, and anything in between. It's up to the imagination of the bank manager. Have a look at all the different things that are on offer and choose the bank account which suits you best. One final word on bank accounts. If you do go into a 0% overdraft and then you stop being a student, you usually have a grace period of between a month and a year in which the interest will still be 0, but after that you will start paying interest on any money that you have borrowed. Don't forget that an overdraft is a loan. Never exceed the agreed amount, so if you have a £2,000 overdraft, don't go a single penny over £2,000 or you will pay dearly for it. But make sure that you have a plan to pay off any money that you've borrowed from your overdraft by the time the interest-free period runs out. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, we're going to have a think about money maxing for parents. So if you have young children or if you are soon going to have young children, that might be one to watch out for. Please leave any comments, questions, or video requests in the comment section below. Have a very good week, and I'll see you next Monday.